Hey y'all. Okay, so we just finished reading chapter 9 of Harry Potter, and I left you guys with a little bit to think about, mostly about our characters. So, a couple of things that I wanted to look at. I uploaded a character log, and I actually did some work in it, and I'm hoping that you guys will go in and update it as well. And it's within our drive, in our Google Drive, in our classroom that you can get to by going to our classroom and going to classwork, and then you can go right here to our class drive folder, and we'll get in right through there. And then once you're here, you can pull up our character log, which is right here. And within that character log, so it might come up looking like this, and then all you have to do is open with Google Docs. And from there, you can edit it too. So I put in some different traits that we've talked about with our characters that you might have been quizzed on with our characters, and added in things like humble and sincere for Harry. This should say he survived Voldemort. And then we put in some things like jealous and stupid for the Dursleys. They don't want Harry to be special. That the Weasleys, that Hagrid is friendly and proud, and he helped Harry get to Hogwarts. That the Weasleys are helpful and kind and considerate. They want everyone to have what they need and deserve. And they helped Harry get to Hogwarts as well. So then I have listed some of our other characters like Ron and Hermione and Draco and Dumbledore and Professor McGonagall and Professor Snape. And I asked you guys to focus really in on Professor McGonagall and Professor Snape, and I asked you guys to do a little Venn diagram. So I have a sample of that as well that we can look at, and then we can add some of those details from the Venn diagram into this character log. So this is what my Venn diagram for Snape and Professor McGonagall looked like. I have Professor Snape on one side and Professor McGonagall on the other. Let's start in the middle. So they both have strict rules for their classroom. They're both, I think, would be considered strict teachers. They have high expectations for their students, and I think that they're both pretty smart. I think we have good evidence for that. They both obviously perform well with magic within their classrooms. Then we have Professor Snape, who favors Draco, right? He clearly has a favoritism towards Draco. And we know with a Venn diagram, when we compare and contrast characters, or compare and contrast anything, it's best if we have a detail on one side that we have a matching detail on the other. So Professor Snape favors Draco Malfoy. I'm tempted to say that Professor McGonagall favors Harry, but I don't think that we have evidence for that. So what I put over here as my matching detail is more that she treats all of her students equally. And I do think that that's true. Professor Snape seems to hate Harry, and we'll see that develop as we continue to read. And Professor McGonagall seems to like Harry, and we'll also see that develop as we continue to read. Professor Snape tends to embarrass his students, and we think about that as how he reacted to Harry in his classroom, that he chose to embarrass him with a lack of knowledge. But he also embarrassed Neville when Neville made a mistake. In his very first potions class, he made a mistake, and Professor Snape yelled at him and embarrassed him in front of his classes. On the other hand, Professor McGonagall, as her motivation, she really wants her students to learn and grow. Despite being strict and clear on her rules and having high expectations for her students, she also really wants them to learn, I think. Professor Snape at least seems to not enjoy his job. We hear things about how he wants a different job, wants to be a different kind of a professor. He calls his students some British word for idiots, right? And he doesn't seem to want to be in the classroom at all. And Professor McGonagall, on the other hand, seems like she really enjoys teaching her students and seeing them succeed, and we have evidence for that in when Hermione succeeds in her classroom, and she's obviously very excited and proud of her student and to see her student succeed. So we have those details. That's our little Venn diagram comparing and contrasting our characters. We talked about some evidence for those. So let's transfer some of those details into our character log to make sure that we're keeping track of that. So, Professor Snape, some of his traits. What do you think? Well, let's start with Professor McGonagall. Her traits might be a little bit easier. Let's think. We can say she's fair, I think. I feel like I might have done this already. I feel like I put in traits for these characters already. Let me see. Oh, yes. I see. Okay, so everyone make sure that if you go in and edit a document that's shared by the whole class, and if you want to make it yours, you go ahead and make a copy of that document. I think I showed y'all how to do that before, but I'm going to show you how to do it. Hold on. I'm going to show you how to do it in a minute. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to reopen this character log. I'm going to open it with Google Docs. And then right up here, oh no, sorry. I'm going to go right here. As soon as I click it, I'm going to click in these three dots. And I'm going to, I should be able to make a copy of it. Let's see. There it is. So you click up at these three dots before you even open the document. Click on the document name, three dots, click make a copy. And then you can open this up, and instead of having Harry Potter character log, you just click on the name up there and you rename it Lillian Hollingsworth Harry Potter character log. And then I know it's your document that you are going in and keeping track of. Does that make sense? So Lil's is right there in there. Now I'm going to go back to the one that was mine, and I'm going to restore my old version. And this is nice too because you can go in and you can re-edit. As you guys can see, there we go. This was the version that I wanted. I'm still figuring out Google Documents as well, so just saying. Okay, so now we can really see all of these different characters that I started to analyze and keep note of. What we know about Ron, what we know about Hermione, what we know about Draco, what we know about Dumbledore, and we don't know everything about those characters yet. But here are some things that I put in for Professor McGonagall and Professor Snape to keep track of their character traits. For Professor McGonagall, I have caring, strict, fair, and expectant, meaning she really expects a lot. And her motivation I have that she wants everyone to learn and grow. She smiles at Hermione when she gets something right. She doesn't get Harry in trouble when he breaks the rules. And she has high expectations for her students. Professor Snape I have as unfair and spiteful. If you are spiteful, it means you kind of carry a grudge and dislike someone, whether it's for a good reason or not. You dislike them for some reason that's really sticking with you. I don't have any motivations for him yet because I don't think we have him figured out. I don't know what Snape's motivation is. We know that he clearly dislikes Harry, that he doesn't really enjoy his job, but we don't know his motivation yet. And his actions that we have as details that he embarrasses Harry on the first day. He likes Draco Malfoy for what seems like no reason to us, right? And again, for Draco, we also, for his motivation, I just have that he wants to be the greatest. He wants to kind of be the best at everything. We don't really have clear motivations for all of our characters yet. And that's why this document would be called a living document, because it's changing as we read, and we can go in and change it. And you guys are more than welcome to come in and add character traits that you think would go with our characters. I want you to do that. I invite you to do that. I ask you to not erase anyone's, and if you come in and add, I can come in and see what you've added by looking at the changes that have been made over the course of the document, which is another thing that's just really cool about Google Docs. So if you want to make your own document, that's great. Go for it. Go straight into the drive and click on Harry Potter Character Log. Click on those 3 dots. Click on Make a Copy, and then rename your copy with your name. If you want to go in and change our class document, if you have, maybe Lil has her own document over here and she had a character trait that I didn't put on ours, well, she might want to add that into ours, and that's great too. You go in, you click on it, you click Open with Google Docs, and then you can come in, and again, I ask that you don't erase anything, but please add as you think things can help us, and we can go in and look over this as we go. Okay, that's all I'm going to do in terms of responses. I see that the response videos are not y'all's favorites, but my hardcore learners are watching them, so I'm going to keep on doing them, but I'm not going to do quite as many of them. All right, I'm excited to keep reading through this book. We will actually finish by the end, or by the middle of next week, which will be great. So, and then we'll start something new. All right, see you guys for chapter 10.